To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.
Hello level students, today I am going to discuss End of Year Evaluation 2020, Department of Education, Sabaragamuwa Province. This is paper 2 and you get 3 hours. There are 2 sections, part A and part B. So you get 6 questions in part A and 6 questions in part B. But you have to select only 5 questions from each part. So in the first part, you get question number 1, that's a graph question. Question number 2, and then 3. Question number 4, 5, and 6. So spaces are not given, so you have to ask for line papers. And especially for the graph question, you have to ask for a graph paper. Then you get part B. 7th question. Then you get question number 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You have to select only 5 questions out of 6 in part B as well. So let's do this paper now. So here what are the instructions given in this paper? Each question carries 10 marks. And the volume of a right circular cone with the base radius r and right height h is 1/3 pi r squared h. And the volume of right circular cylinder with the base radius r and height h is pi r squared h. And here, how many minutes you can spend for each question? So there are 10 questions you have to do and you get how many hours? 3 hours. So each question you can spend 18 minutes maximum. So let's do this paper now. Answer only 5 questions. This is the graph question. First you have to fill in the blanks and then you have to draw the graph and then answer the given questions. So let's do that. An incomplete table showing in the y values corresponding to several x values of the quadratic function y equals 5 minus x minus 1 whole thing squared within the interval minus 2 to 4 is given below. Find the value of y when x equals 4. So let's substitute. So y equals 5 minus x minus 1 whole thing squared is the equation. Substitute x equals 4. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 squared is 9. 5 minus 9 minus 4. So can you see this side? 4, 1 minus 4. 4, 1 minus 4. This side is symmetric. So this should be the vertex point. Without drawing, we can figure out what is the vertex point. Then it says, using the standard system of axes and suitable scale, draw the graph of the given quadratic function on a graph paper. So we have to scale it. So we can start here minus 2 to 4. So let's take 10 squares 1 unit along x-axis. So this is, if this is minus 2, minus 1, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can draw the y-axis somewhere here. Then you can mark the y values. Now y values minus 4 to plus 5. So you can take 10 squares 1 unit there as well. So let's take 10 squares 1 unit starting from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and you need only up to minus 4. Then we'll draw the x-axis. 0 here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This side minus 1, minus 2. So this is, you can mark it like this way, 0.1. 10 small squares is, 1 unit. So 1 over 10 is very small square. This way also 0.1. Now we'll mark the points minus 2, minus 4. Minus 1, 1. 0, 4. 1, 5. 2, 4. 3, 1. And 4, minus 4. 4 minus 4 is here. Now we can connect the points smoothly. So to connect the corner ones, I can use the ruler because it's far away. Only for those 2 points I can use the ruler, but after that I have to smoothly connect without the ruler. So let's start from here. This side you can connect like this. So this is the quadratic graph and you are getting 3 marks. So here you are getting 1 mark for finding this value and 1 mark for the scale, 1 mark for marking the points correctly and 1 mark for connecting smoothly. So we'll use this graph to answer the other questions. Now draw the axis of symmetry of the graph and write the equation of it. So axis of symmetry is the line passes through the vertex point. So if you draw the line, you don't have to do that. That's this vertical line. No, now it says draw the axis of symmetry. You have to draw the line and write down the equation of it. So what is the x value? This is x value is 1. So you can write down the equation as x equals 1. Then write the range of x values which satisfies the inequality x less than 0. X less than 0 means left hand side and y is less than 0. Y less than 0 means below the x-axis. X less than 0 and y less than 0 means this graph here to here. So you have to write down the x values. So what is this x value? When you read that, this is like minus 1.2. So minus 1.2 and less than that. So how you write down that? X should be less than minus 1.2. You don't have to write up to here, minus 2 and here. Some are writing in between minus 2 to minus 1.2, you get marks. So either this or if you write x is in between minus 2 and minus 1.2, you get marks because this graph you have drawn up to this point. Then what's the last part? The graph of the function y equals 5 minus x squared can be obtained by changing the location of the drawn graph. Find the value of x when y equals 0 of the graph y equals 5 minus x squared. So what is the graph here? Is 5 minus x minus 1 squared. And what is the graph you need? Y equals 5 minus x squared. So that means here minus 1 is not there. So minus 1, how you get rid of from the graph? You have to add 1. So adding 1 to the x value means moving the graph 1 unit to the left. Plus 1 inside means moving the graph 1 unit to the left. So they are asking, find the values of x when y equals 0 of the graph. Now what happens? This whole graph moving 1 unit to the left. So all these root values also moving 1 unit to the left. So they're asking when y equals 0, that means along the x-axis, what is the original values here? You get x equals, in this, the first graph, x equals minus 1.2 or this value is 3.2. X equals 3.2. So these are the values we can find from the graph. If the graph is moving 1 unit to the left, what are the new values? So x value becomes minus 1.2 minus 1. So minus 2.2 or 3.2 becomes 1 unit to the left. So 2.2. So the new x values are minus 2.2 or 2.2. So how many marks you are getting? So you are getting 1 mark for writing the equation of the line of symmetry and 1 mark for drawing on the graph. And then writing down the inequality minus here 1.2 to 2. Here this part, because it says y should be less than 0. So below the x-axis, and x should be less than 0. Here, only this part. Here to here, you get 2 marks, this inequality. Or you can write this as well, x is less than minus 1.2. Then part 5, you are getting 2 marks. So the graph of the function, this can be obtained. Find the values of x when y equals 0 of the graph, this one. So minus 2.2 and 2.2, that's 2 marks. So altogether we have given 10 marks for the whole question. Let's do question number 2. Jayanta borrowed 60,000 rupees from a financial institute to repair his house. It is to be paid back in 10 equal monthly installments with 16% annual interest rate. The interest is calculated according to the reducing balance. So find the values of a monthly installment. So here first we'll find out the investing amount per month. Without the interest, first you have to calculate. So 60,000 divided by 10. Invest per month. 60,000 divided by 10, because it's 10 equal monthly installments. So investment per month, or installment. You can write installment, not investment. So I'll write installment per month without interest. So you need to pay 6,000 rupees. So what is the interest per month? Interest per month, 6,000 is the installment, and this is 16% of that. This is annually, and you have to divide by 12 to get monthly interest. And What is that value? It's 2 zeros. 6 times 2, 2 times 8, 80 rupees is the interest per month. Then this is reducing, using reducing balance method. You have to find out total months units. Months units. This is 10 equal months. So 10 into 11 divided by 2. N into n plus 1 divided by 2. 2 times 5. So 55 months units are there. Then what is the total interest for all months units? So total interest needs to pay 80 rupees is the interest per month multiplied by number of months units. So you get 8 times 5, 40, 4 remaining, 8 times 5, 40 plus 4, 44, 4,400 rupees. Then what is the total amount to pay? Then total amount is 60,000 is the installment without the interest, and interest is 4,400. Altogether needs to pay 64,400 rupees. Then what is the installment per month? You have to divide by 10. Installment per month. So 64,400 divided by 10. You get 6,440 rupees. So here you have not given several parts, just they asked to find out the monthly installment. So you have to know the process. So all these parts are important to get the final answer. So let's see how many marks for each part. So you are getting 1 mark for finding the installment without the interest, and then finding interest per month, that's 2 marks. And then how many months units? That's 1 mark. And total interest 4,400 is just 1 mark. And then calculate the total amount. Total amount, that's another 1 mark. And calculating the monthly installment, 1 mark. So how many marks given for the whole part? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 marks for the whole part 1. 7 marks are given. Now let's do the next part. If the above mentioned loan is taken under 1% monthly simple interest rate, show that the interest to be paid after 10 months is greater than the interest paid in installments as calculated in above part 1. So if this is a monthly installment is 1%. So what is the interest? Interest needs to pay, what is the amount borrowed? 60,000. 60,000 into 1%. This is monthly. And there are 10 months. After 10 months. So 10, you have to multiply by 10. 2 zeros. Again, this is 6,000. So this is the interest is greater than the interest paid in installments as calculated in above part 1. So what is the value? We calculated the interest here, 6,000. So the total interest is 4,400. 4,400 is the interest. So that's less than this. 4,400 is less. So 6,000 is more. So they're asking the interest here is more than, greater than the interest paid in installments as calculated in above. Yeah, that's true. So you can say 6,000 is greater than 4,400. So that means in this method, interest is greater than previous method. So let's see how many marks for this part. So 2 marks for calculating the interest and showing that this is greater, just 1 mark. So we have given all together 10 marks for the whole question. Question number 3. It's a statistics question. The masses of chili harvest that Isuru plucked from his chili cultivation in 28 turns are as follows. 20 to 24 means 20 or more than 20 and less than 24. So the upper boundary is not equal, but the lower boundary is equal to that value. According to the table, find the mean mass of chilies plucked in 1 turn. So we need to find the mean. So we construct the table. So intervals. So that's masses. What are the intervals? 20 to 24, 24 to 28, 28 to 32, 32 to 36, 36 to 40, 40 to 44, 44 to 48. And we can find the mid value. That's x. Add and divide by 2. 20 plus 24 divide by 2. So you get 22. 24 plus 28 divide by 2, 26. You can see it's increased by 4. So let's add 4. 34, 38, 42, 46. Then frequency column. Frequency columns 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6, 9, 3, 2, 2. So what's the total frequency? 6, 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 28. Frequency is 28. Yeah, 28 turns are given. Now to find out the mean, you need the column x and f, fx column. Multiply f with x. 2 times 22, that's 44. 4 times 26, 4 times 6, 24. 2 remaining, 4 times 2, 8 plus 2, 10. 6 times 30, 180. 9 times 4, 36, 3 remaining. 9 times 3, 27. Plus 3, 300. 6. 3 times 8, 24. 2 remaining. 3 times 3, 9 plus 2, 11. 2 times 2, 4. 2 times 4, 8. 2 times 6, 12. 1 remaining. 2 times 4, 8 plus 1, 9. Now we'll add the whole fx values. 4 and 4, 8. 18. 20, 24. 2 remaining. 10, 19, 20, 28, 32. 3 remaining. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 924. So how do you find out the mean value? Mean is equal to total fx. So that's how you write sigma fx over sigma f. Total fx over total f frequency. So 924 divide by 28. Can we divide by 4 first? Yeah, we can divide by 4. 4 times 2, 8. 4 times 3, 12, 1. 4 times 7. Now we can divide by 7. 7 times 3, 21. And 7 times 3, 21. So 33 kilograms is the mean mass of chilies plucked in one turn. So how many marks we can give this for this answer? So we can give 1 mark for finding mid values and XF values 1 mark and the total 1 mark. So mean value you are getting 2 marks. So altogether 2, 3, 4, 5 marks for the first part. Then if the price of 1 kilogram of chilies is 450 rupees, what is the income that he can expect to receive by selling chilies in first 20 turns? So for 1 turn, it's, what is the value? Mean value, we've got 33 kilos. So 33 kilos are there, and for each kilo is 450, and this is for 1 turn. If there are 20 turns, you have to multiply this by 20. So what's the total? 2 zeros. And you can write 2 times 33, 66. 66 times 45. 40 and 5. 5 times 6, 30. 3 remaining. 30, 33. 2,970. 2,970. So how you read this value? 297,000 rupees. So let's see how many marks. 2 marks for that. Then third part, after the first 28 turns, so 28 turns, the mean mass of chilies plucked in next 7 turns is 23 kilos. What is the mean mass of chili plucked in the whole 35 turns? So first 28 turns, how many turns are there in this question? 28. So that's the first 28 turns. The mean mass is 33. After the first 20 turns, the mean mass of chilies plucked in 7 turns is 23 kilograms. So here first 28, mean mass is 30 kilograms. Then after that, next 7 turns, it's 23 kilograms. What is the mean mass of chilies plucked in the whole 35 turns? So what is the total mass for 28 turns? Total is 28 times 33. And what is the total for 7 turns? Mean is 23, so 23 times 7. So that's the total weight mass for the whole thing. And altogether there are 35 turns. 28 plus 7, 35 turns. So you have to divide by 35 to get the mean of the whole thing. So what is the value there? Let's multiply. 28 times 33. 24. 6 plus 2, 8. 3 times 8, 24. 3 times 2, 6 plus 2, 8. 924. 7 times 3, 21. 2 remaining. 7 times 2, 14. Plus 2, 16. Then take the total. 1 and 4, 5. 6 and 2, 8. 10. Divide by 35. You can do long division, or you can just simplify first. 5 times 7, 5 times 2, 5 times 1, and 7. Now you can divide by 7. 7 times 3, 21. 7 times 1, 7. 31 kilograms is the mean value now. So how many marks for that part? You are getting 3 marks for that. For the whole process, you get 3 marks. So we have given altogether 10 marks for the whole question. Question number 4, you have to build up a pair of simultaneous equations there. Sadiq is a fruit seller. One day he bought a stock of watermelons of 160 kilograms and separated it into 2 heaps, as big ones and small ones. He sold big watermelons for 100 rupees each and small ones for 80 rupees each. And it says the number of big melons is 30 more than the small melons. The income received by selling big melons is 4,700 more than the income received by selling small melons. Build up a pair of simultaneous equations by taking the number of big melons as x and the number of small melons as y, and by solving them find the number of melons in each type. So this is the important part. Which one is x? The big melons you can take as x, the smaller ones you can take as y. Now we have to read again and write down the 2 equations. It says, one day he bought a stock of watermelons of 160 kilos. The whole thing is 60 kilos. And separate into 2 heaps. He sold big watermelons for 100 rupees. So the number of big melons is 30 more than the smaller ones. So when you subtract the number of big ones, x minus the smaller ones, the difference is 30. The number of big melons is 30 more than the smaller melons. So that's first equation. Then the second one, the income received by selling big melons. So there are x number of big melons and each one is 100 rupees. So 100x. So 100x is the income received by selling big melons. It says it's 4,700 more than the income received by selling small ones. So when you take the difference between the income received by big ones and selling big ones and small ones, that's 4,700. So what is the selling price for the smaller ones? 80 rupees each one, and there are y melons, 80y. So when you subtract, that is 4,700. So that's your second equation. Now it says solving them find the number of melons for each type. So you have to solve these 2 equations. What we can do, we can either use substitution method, or we'll take the first equation and multiply by 100. 100x minus 100y equals 100 times 30, 3000. That's our third equation. Now we can subtract the two equations because the coefficients of x's are equal and the signs are the same. So you have to subtract the two equations. So 2 minus 1. When you subtract, x get cancelled out. Minus 80y minus 100y. So that becomes plus. So 80 minus 80 plus 100 becomes 20y. 4,700 minus 3,000, you get 1,700. So when you divide by 20, you get 2 times 8 and then 2 times 5. 85 is y. That means number of small melons are 85. How you find out x? You can take one of these equations. I'll take first one. That's the easiest. I can find x using that. X becomes y plus 30. Y is 85 plus 30. That means 115. So how many big ones? Big melons? Big melons denoted by x. So that's 115 big melons and 85 small melons are there. So how many marks for that part? So you are getting 2 marks for writing the two equations. This one. And then for solving, you are getting 4 marks. So 2 marks for finding y and 2 marks for finding x. So altogether 6 marks for the whole part. Now let's do the second part. If he has bought 1 kilogram of melons for 70 rupees, show that the total profit he received by selling melons is 7,100. So what is the buying price? One kilo is 70 rupees. How many kilos he bought? 60 kilos. It says 160 kilos of watermelons. 160 kilos of watermelons. So what is the buying price? 160 kilos, each one with 70. $42, 7 times 1, 7 plus 4, 11. So 11,200 is the buying price. What is the selling price then? Selling price did we find out the selling price? It's not mentioned anything here. We have to calculate from this 100 into x. So what is x we found? 115. X is 150. Y is 85. 180. So selling price is, you can write down 100 for each big one, and there are 115 big melons and 80 rupees for 1 melon, and how many melons? Small ones, 85. So that's the total selling price. 1152 zeros plus Put a 0 and multiply by 8. 8 times 5, 40. 4 remaining. 8 times 8, 64. Plus 4, 68. So when you add it, 2 zeros. 8 plus 5, 13. 1 remaining. 7 plus 1, 8. 1. 18,300. So what is the profit? Profit is equal to 18,300 minus 11,200. Selling price minus the buying price. So 7,100. So that's what we need to show. Show that the total profit he received by selling melons is 7,100. So how many marks for that one? You are getting 4 marks to show all these steps. So we'll give 2 marks and 2 marks here. Let's do question number 5. An observer who is standing 40 meters distance away from a vertical tower on a flat land sees the top of a tower with an angle of elevation 30 degrees. Draw a scale diagram by representing 5 meters of the actual distance by 1 centimeter. First, we'll draw a sketch. It says there's a vertical post. An observer who is standing 40 meters distance. So 40 meters distance away from the vertical tower on a flat land sees the top of the tower with an angle of elevation 30. So that means this angle is 30 degrees. Now we'll take 1 centimeter represent 5 meters scale. That means for 40 meters, you have to take 8 centimeter length. So let's draw the scale diagram. So take first a straight line, and now you can measure 8 centimeter length. Here to here, 8 centimeter length, and then you have to take the protractor and measure 30 degree angle from here. (10, 20, 30), and then you can draw the line here. And then it's a vertical post, so you can draw the vertical line. So better to take the set square. And you can draw the vertical line from that. You keep on top of this horizontal line and then draw the vertical line. So this is the tower. So this is 30 degrees and this is 8 centimeters. And then it says, using the scale diagram, find the height of the tower correct to the nearest meter. So let's measure this one, or you can take the set square and measure. Measure the height. It's 5 centimeters I get. So 5 centimeters is the scale value multiplied by 5. 5 times 5, 25. meters is the height of the tower. Because you have to convert to meters. 1 centimeter represents 5 meters. So what is the you are getting 2 marks for the scale diagram and finding the height you are getting 2 marks. So here we'll check whether the value is correct. I'm getting 5 centimeters. So that's 25. It depends on your diagram. Make sure that you multiply the value you are getting by 5 to get the actual value. So I'm getting 5 centimeter for this height and with this 30-degree angle. So for that I'm getting 2 marks. This is correct to nearest meter. So 4 marks for that question. And then let's take the next part. AB is a flat ground and BC is one side of a building. AB equals 80 meters. So this is 80 meters. And the angle of elevation of C from A is 43 degrees. So this is 43. Find the height of BC. This height. When you take the big triangle to this angle, this height is opposite and this height is adjacent. So what is the suitable trigonometric ratio? Opposite and adjacent relates to tan. So you can write tan 43 is equal to BC over 80. And when you multiply by 80, you can get BC value. 80 times tan 43 value. Now you have to refer the tangent table and get the tan 43 value. So what is tan 43 value? Here this is 43. Here 9325. Multiplied by 80. 0, 8 times 5, 40. 4 remaining. 8 times 2, 16 plus 4, 20. 2 remaining. 8 times 3, 24, 26. 2 remaining. 8 times 9, 72 plus 2, 74. And then you have to keep 4 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's the BC length? 74.6 meters. So I can rewrite this. 74.6 meters is the height of BC. So how many marks for that part? You are getting 3 marks for that part. Then let's do the next one. If the point D is situated between A and B and CD equals 80 meters. This length is 80 meters and this was 43. Find the magnitude of the angle BDC, this angle. But we know, we found BC, 70, what's that? Length, 74.6. 74.6 here. Now we have this length and this one. So what is this length to this angle? That's opposite. And hypotenuse is CD. So opposite and hypotenuse, what's the trigonometric ratio? That's sine ratio. So you can write sine of CDB is equal to 74.6 divided by 80. Opposite over hypotenuse. So first you can divide by 80. So let's do the long division. 80 times 9, 72. So 720. Then you get 26. For 260, you get how many 8s? 3. 24, that's 240. Then you get 200. How many 80s? 2. That's 160. Then for 400, that's 5. So you get 0.9325. Now this is sine ratio. How you find the angle? You have to use sine inverse of 0.9325. So you have to refer the sine table and see where you get 9325. So 9325 in the next page. 9325. 9325 is there. So 68 and 50. 68, 50. So you can write this one as 68 degrees and 50 minutes is the angle CDB. So let's see how many marks you are getting. So you are getting 3 marks for that. Finding the angle. So we have given all together 10 marks for that question as well. Let's do question number 6. The base radius of a right solid cylinder, let's take the diagram, cylinder, and the base radius is r. And the height of it is 4 centimeter more than the radius. R is the radius, and then what is the height? R plus 4. Denote the height of the cylinder using R. So what is the height? Height is equal to R plus 4. That's in centimeter as well. So how many marks? So how many marks for that? You are getting 1 mark. If the area of the curved surface of it is 88 square centimeters, curved surface area is 2 pi RH. 2 pi R, H is R plus 4. That's equal to 88. Show that R satisfies the quadratic equation. So you have to simplify this. So let's substitute pi as 22 over 7. R plus 4 is equal to 88. Which one we can divide by 22 both sides. 22 times 1, 22 times 4. Now divide by 2 both sides. 2 times 1, 2 times 2. Now cross multiply. You get R into R plus 4 is equal to 2 times 7, 14. Now multiply these two, you get r squared plus 4r. Then take 14 to this side. That's minus 14 is equal to 0. So you get the same equation. R squared plus 4r minus 14 is equal to 0. How many marks? So you are getting 2 marks for showing that. Then part 3. By solving the equation, show that the base radius of the cylinder is 3 root 2 minus 2, and by using it, find the height of the cylinder. Take root 2 as 1.41. So what is the equation? R squared plus 4r minus 14 is equal to 0. So you have to find out r. Either you can use the quadratic formula or you can use completing square method. So let's use completing square method. R squared plus 4r is equal to plus 14. When you take minus 14 to the other side. Now how you make a square term? Divide the r term by 2. That's 4 divided by 2 is 2. Square it. That's 4. To make a perfect square, you have to add 4. Do the same thing for the other side because this is an equation. Then how can you write this one as a square term? This is r plus 2 squared. Because square root of 4 is 2, square root of r squared is r. Then that's equal to 14 plus 4 is. Then take square root both sides. When you take square root both sides, you get r plus 2 equals plus or minus square root of 18. Square root of 18 you can write 9 times 2. And when you take square root both sides, what happens? Square root of 9 is 3, 3 root 2. So you can simplify this one to 3 root 2. Then what is r? R becomes minus 2 plus or minus 3 root 2. This is the radius. Can you get a negative answer for a radius value? You can't get. So you have to take only the positive answer. What is the positive answer? Minus 2 plus 3 root 2. So the radius becomes minus 2 plus 3 root 2. So this is same as 3 root 2 minus 2. Then what they ask? By using it, find the height of the cylinder. So what is the radius now? By taking root 2 as 1.41. Let's substitute 1.41 there. First multiplication according to Bodmer's. 3 times 4, 12, 1 remaining, 3 times 1, 3 plus 1, 4. And then minus 2. So when you simplify, you get 2.23, this is in centimeters, is the radius. So what is the height of the cylinder? Height is 4 centimeters more than the radius. So 2.23 plus 4. So what's the final answer? 6.23 centimeters. So you get 3 marks for showing up to this point. R equals minus 2 plus 3 root 2. Because r cannot be negative and you are taking only the positive answer, that's 2 marks. And then the final answer, 2 marks. So altogether 7 marks for this part. And we completed that question giving all 10 marks. Let's do the next one. So we completed part A, all 6 questions, but you have to do only 5 questions. Now we'll do part B. Again, you get 6 questions, but you have to do only 5 questions. Question number 1, it's about progression. On a board prepared for an activity of mathematics in primary classes, there are small squares drawn and numbered from 1 to 20 respectively. On each square, a certain number of buttons are kept, and the number of buttons so kept are in an arithmetic progression such that the number on each square is 3 more than the number on the previous square. When 6 boxes including 100 buttons in each one are using to keep buttons like this, it seems that the number of buttons on the 18th square is 58, but the remaining number is not enough to complete the 19th square. Find the number of buttons remaining after keeping on 18th square. So you have to first find the pattern. What it says, altogether 20 squares are there. So 20 numbers are there. N is 20. And you have to keep here, it's an arithmetic progression. And it says the number on each square is 3 more than the number on the previous square. So what is the common difference? Common difference is 3. Because it's 3 more than the previous one. So you can find the first term using this statement. It says 18 square is 58. Here the number of buttons on the 18th square. So when n equals 18, number of buttons is 58. So 18th term is 58. So what is 18th term? First term plus n minus 1. So that's 17d. So you can equate. So 58 buttons are there and we know d equals 3. According to Bodmer's, do multiplication first. 17 times 3, 51, and this is 58. So what is A? A is, the first term is 58 minus 51, that's 7. So first term is 7. And we know that they filled 18 squares. But for the 19th one, it's not enough. So what is the total number of buttons kept for all 18 squares? So that means S18. So you can use the sum formula, 18 n over 2, and you can use the first term and the last term. Because we know first term is 7 and the last term, that's 18 square filled with 58 buttons. That's the last term. So when you use that, you can find out the total number of buttons for all 18 squares. So 9 times 65. 45, 4 remain. 9 times 6, 54. 54 plus 4, 58, 585. But how many buttons altogether? 6 boxes of 100 buttons. So total buttons are 6 into 100, that's 600. So what is the number of buttons remaining after keeping on 18 square? So you have to subtract these two. So remaining number is 600 minus 585. So you get 5. So 15 buttons are remaining. So how many marks for that one? So you are getting 2 marks for finding the first term. and 3 marks for finding the remaining number of buttons. So 5 marks for that part. Let's do the part B. The sum of the first 7 terms of a geometric progression with common ratio 2 is 381. So common ratio is 2 and sum of all 7 terms, S7 is given 381. Find the 7th term of this progression. So the question asks to find out T7. So how we are going to find out the first term? So we can use the geometric formula for sum. What is the formula? A r to the power n. So this is n is 7 minus 1 over r minus 1. That's equal to 381. So now simplify. A 2 to the power 7, 2 to the power 6 is 64. Multiplied by 2, 128. Minus 1, 127. This is 1 is equal to 381. So what is it? 381 divided by 127. That's 3 times of that. 3 times 7, 21. So 381. So A equals 3. Okay, now we have to find the 7th term. So this is geometric sequence. What is the 7th term formula? First term, that's 3. Ratio is 2. 2 to the power n minus 1. 7 minus 1 becomes 6. So 2 to the power 6 is 64. 64 times 3. 3 times 4, 12. 1 remaining. 3 times 6, 18 plus 1, 19. So 192 is the 7th term. So you are getting 3 marks for finding the A value and then 2 marks for finding the 7th term. So altogether we have given 10 marks for the whole question. Let's do the next one. So this is the construction question. You can only use the pair of compasses and the ruler. So first part it says draw the straight line AB 7 centimeters and construct the perpendicular bisector of it. So AB is 7 centimeters. So first we'll take the ruler and draw a line. And then you have to take the compass, measure 7 centimeter length. And draw the line segment AB. And when you take the other side, that's this line. So that's AB. That's 7 centimeters is the AB line segment. And perpendicular bisector on it. So how you construct the perpendicular bisector? You take the compass, keep on top of one point and take the length more than half of its length. Like this, and now draw an arc above and below. Do the same thing for point B. And then you connect the two intersecting points. So that's the perpendicular bisector. So perpendicular bisector is, that means 90 degree and these two lengths are equal. Then what's the next part? Construct the circle in which AB is a chord and the radius is 4 centimeters. We know when you connect the center and the midpoint of the chord, it's perpendicular to the chord. So that means the center should be on the perpendicular bisector. And the radius is 4. That means you can take 4 centimeter length from the compass, and you can either take A or B as the point and you can mark the center. So from here, that's 4 centimeter length. So this is the center of the circle, that's O. And you can construct the circle now. Take the compass, keep on top of O. O is the center. And OA or OB you can take as the radius. That's 4 centimeter length. So when you draw the circle, it should pass through point A as well. So this is the circle with center O. Then construct a tangent to the circle at A and name it as MAT. So how you construct the tangent? We know there's a property. When you draw a tangent line, that line is perpendicular to the radius. So what you can do, first you can connect the center and the point A. And now construct a perpendicular to that. How you draw a perpendicular at A? You take any distance from the compass and keep on top of A, and you can draw 2 arcs on both sides. And then take another longer distance and keep on top of the marked arcs, and then you can draw the other arcs. Then you can connect the A point and this intersecting point. So that's the tangent line. You can extend this line to the other side as well. You can do that with your ruler. So that's the tangent drawn to the circle at point A. Then label it as MAT. So we'll take this point is MAT, any point T here. Construct a parallel line to the tangent AT at B and name the point it intersects the circle as C. So you have to draw a parallel line to AT with along B. How you draw a parallel line? You can use the parallelogram method. So take the compass. We'll take the parallelogram method. So we'll take the AT distance. Let's say this is the T distance. This is T distance. So that length should be same as the length with B. So you can mark the arc. And the length with AB should be the same as this length. Opposite lengths are equal in a parallelogram. And you can mark from T point. So this point, the intersecting point and the B value you can connect. That's a parallel line. So that's a parallel line drawn to AT along B. Then it says the intersecting point with the circle mark at C. So the intersecting point is C. So this point is C. Name an angle equal to ACB and give reasons for it. ACB. What is this angle? You have to give an equal angle to this. What do you think? ACB. Here, these two lines are parallel. This angle should be equal to this angle. Alternate angles are equal. So what is that angle? You can write CAT. CAT is the other angle equal to ACB because it's alternate angles. Now let's see how many marks for each part. So you are getting 1 mark for the AB line segment and then 2 marks for perpendicular bisect. Then 2 marks for drawing the circle with center O and 1 mark for drawing the tangent line and 2 marks for drawing a parallel line and then mark the C point. Then giving an equal angle. So here you can give some more angles. BAT. BAT is not equal. It says ABC. ABC. Here, what's the angle? Name an angle equal to ACB. ACB. That's CAT. CAT. And also, can you remember the alternate segment theorem? Alternate segment theorem, the angle between the tangent and the chord is equal to the opposite segment angle. So that's this one also you can write. CBA angle. So there are so many angles. CBA also you can write. Then what else? This angle you can write. This is the angle between the tangent and the chord. That angle is equal to opposite segment angle. Alternate segment theorem you can write BAM as well. BAM. BAM angle as well, because BAM angle is same as this angle, or this angle is same as this angle, or alternate angles. So you can write all these angles, but you have to write only one. Name an angle. Out of these angles, you can write one. So for that, you are getting 2 marks. So altogether, 10 marks for the whole question. Question number 9. You have to prove that. First, you have to draw the diagram. In the triangle ABC, AB and AC are equal. Shall we draw that first? In ABC triangle, AB is equal to AC. So that means this angle is equal to this angle. D is on the line AC. So you can take any point D. The line AB is produced. AB is produced, this one, such that CD is equal to BE. So let's mark this point as D. This is D. CD length is same as BE. So you can mark E point. And this length are equal. These two are equal. Then DF is drawn. DF is drawn parallel to AB. So here, parallel to AB, there's a line DF here. Something like this. This line is parallel to this one, and it's DF. Prove that DFC triangle is an isosceles triangle. So you have to show that this is isosceles triangle. So let's do that. How you show that it's isosceles? These two are parallel lines, and this one, this length is equal to this one. So what can you say about parallel lines? This angle and this angle are equal. Corresponding angles are equal. Then we can see this angle is equal to this one. So these two angles are equal. That means CD should be equal to FD. So let's write down that ACB angle is equal to ABC. What's the reason? Isosceles triangle, because AB is equal to AC. Then we know ABC angle is same as DFC angle. Corresponding angles. Then we can say these two are equal. Then ACB angle is same as DFC. These two are equal. That means FD length should be equal to DC. So DFC is an isosceles triangle. That's the first part. So how many marks you are getting for that part? 3 marks. Now let's do the next part. So here you have to extend. Here it says the line BC. The line BC and DE. You have to draw the DE line. Intersects at T. So this point is T. Show that BTE triangle is congruent to DFT. This triangle. How you show that these two triangles are congruent? Take BTE triangle and TFD triangle. We know that it says DFT, DFT, this angle. So this angle is equal to this angle. You can write down BTE angle is equal to DTF. DTF, that's opposite angles. What else we can say? We found from the previous part, this side is equal to this length. So that means EB or BE is same as FD. So you can see that because we proved that these two are equal, proved in the previous part. What else? Now we have one length and one angle. Then we need another length or angle. What can you say about these angles? These two are parallel lines. So what is this angle? This angle is same as this angle. Alternate angles are equal. AET or BET angle is same as TDF angle because of alternate angles. Alternate angles are equal. Then two angles and one length. Two angles and one length. The two triangles are congruent. Because of angle, side. Two angles and one side. So you get 3 marks for that. Then let's see the next part. Prove that BDFE is a parallelogram. BDFC is a parallelogram. How can we show that? I'll take a different color. Now we need to show that BDFE is a parallelogram. Now we know here BE is parallel to FD and these are equal. One pair of opposite sides equal and parallel, it's a parallelogram. So that's what you have to write. So let's write that part. It says BE is parallel to DF. BE is parallel to DF and it's equal. BE is equal to DF. One pair of opposite sides equal and parallel that means BDFE is a parallelogram. So how many marks for that part? You get 2 marks. And the last part of that question, write an equal ratio to DF and AB. So you need to find out the ratio DF to AB. So can you see ACB triangle and FCD triangle? Those are similar because these two lines are parallel and the angles are equal. Equiangular triangles, the big one and the small one. So the ratios are equal. So DF to AB is same as FC to BC. FC to BC or what's the other length? Other length is CD to AC. CD to AC. So the 3 ratios are equal because those two are equiangular triangles and they are similar. So you can write one of these. So how many marks for that? You are getting 2 marks. You are getting 2 marks for that. So we did the whole question and giving 10 marks. Let's do question number 10. It's about volume question. The thickness of a solid metal cylindrical plate in which the radius is r is 3/4 centimeters. Find the volume of the plate in pi and r. This is a cylindrical plate. So what is the volume? Volume is pi r squared h. R squared h. H is the height. The thickness of the solid metal cylindrical plate in which the radius is r is 3/4. So that's the height. 3/4. So you have to write down the volume in terms of pi and r. So you can write 3 pi r squared over 4. So how many marks for that? You are getting 1 mark. Now let's take the next one. Find the volume of a solid metal cone in which the base radius is 2r. It's about a cone now. Base radius is 2r and the height is 6 centimeters. So what is the volume? Volume is 1/3 pi r squared. R squared means 2r squared. H is 6. So simplify 1/3 pi. 2 into 2, 4. 4r squared into 6. 3 times 2, 4 times 2, 8r squared pi is the volume of the cone in terms of pi and r. That's 1 mark. Then the cone is made by melting 12 metal plates. So that means 12 of metal plates. So volume of 1 metal plate we found 3 pi r squared over 4. So 12 of these is the cone, and it says if 99 cubic centimeter of metal is remaining after making the cone, show that r equals this. So this is the volume of 12 metal plates, and that's equal to the remaining part 99 plus the volume of the cone 8r squared pi. Now we'll try to simplify and make r squared as the subject. 4 times 3, 3 times 3, 9 pi r squared, and take this one to this side, 8r squared pi is equal to 99. So same term, that's pi r squared is equal to 99. So what is r squared? 99 over pi. So when you take the square root, you get r equals square root of 99 over pi. So you can write 99 as 9 times 11, and when you take the square root, what happens? Square root of 9 is 3. 3 root 11. So you can write instead of 99, 3 root 11 over root pi. Root pi I can write inside 1 root sign, 11 over pi. So that's the r value. So how many marks for that? So you are getting 2 marks for showing that. Then last part, using the logarithmic tables, find the radius of the cylindrical metal plate. Take pi as 3.14. So what's the equation? R equals 3 times square root 11 over pi. Now take log both sides. Log of r equals, this is multiplication, you can add it, log of 3 plus half is the power, square root means half, so you can take it down, half log 11 minus log pi value 3.14, because it's division. Division of numbers becomes subtraction of logarithms. Now you have to use the log tables. Before that, we'll write down the mantissa. 3 means 0 point something. And 11 means 1 point something. And 3.14 means 0 point something. Now let's look at the table, logarithmic table, and find out the values. Log 3. So 30 is 4771. 11 0. 0414. 31 4. 31 4. 4969. Now we'll subtract these two first. 1.0414 minus 0.4969. 5. 4, 11, 10, 14, 1 remaining, 5, 5. So 0.5445, then you divide by 2. So divide by 2, you get 2 times 2, 4, then 7, 2 times 2, 4, and then 2 times 2, 4, again, for 10, that's 5. So let's put 3. Instead of writing 2, 5, you can put 3. Then add these two. 3 plus 1, 4. 7 plus 2, 9. 7 and 7, 14. 7. Now to find out r, you have to use the anti-log value of 0.7494. Now again refer the table and see where you get 7494. 7494. 90 is there. 7490. So we need another 4. That's from 5. 5615. 5615 is the answer. 5615. And the mantissa is 0. That means you have to keep the decimal point here. When you write in scientific notation, so this is the decimal point. So 5.615 is the radius value. So that's what you have to find here. This is in centimeters. Let's see. What's the unit? Yeah, it's in centimeters. So let's see. When you use the table, you get 4771, 1.0414, and here 4969. So you get 6 marks for that. So the whole part you get 6 marks. So we'll give, writing in log terms, you can get 2 marks. Then 1 mark for this, 1 mark here, and 1 mark here. And then taking all these values, 1 mark. So 6 marks altogether. Let's do the next question. Question number 11, that's sets question. In an exhibition of a school in the stall run by Past Pupils Association, there were shirts, umbrellas and caps in school colors to be sold. As the number of caps is limited, caps are issued to customers only who buys a shirt. Customer who only buys a shirt. Here, that means C should be. This is the subset. So that means we can label this one as wearing caps. So C means caps and B should be buying shirts. In a certain time period, 40 people came to the stall. So 40 should be here. It's already given. Show that the information about their buying. Copy this Venn diagram to your answer script and complete it according to the given data. So A shows the people who bought umbrellas. So it's umbrellas. Name the two sets B and C appropriately. So this B should be shirts and C should be caps. Let's see how many marks for that one. Then let's see. What's the next part? Number of people who bought umbrellas is 25 and number who bought shirts is 22. What is the number of people who bought only umbrellas? So we need to find out this part. We know this is shirts and this is caps. So how you find out this part, intersecting part? We can add 25 and 22. That's 47. 40 minus 6 is 34. So what is the difference between 47 and 34? That should be the middle part. So that's 13 here. Then if this is 13, 25 minus 13, that's 12. So number of people who bought only umbrellas is 12 people. So let's give marks. So for that, you are getting 2 marks. The number of people who bought only 2 types of items from above 3 types is 90. So we found this is 12, 13, and this is 25, and this is 22. Let's see. 22. And it says here only 2 types is altogether 90. 2 types means this is only umbrellas. This is umbrellas and shirts. This 13 and this part. That's caps and shirts. That's 90. So when you subtract 13 from that, you get this part. So those who bought caps is 6 people. How many people have bought caps? 6. So how many marks for that? That's 2 marks. Then the last part. Name the set who bought only shirts in set notation using A, B and C. Only shirts means this part. How can we write using set notation? It should be outside A dash. And also C dash. Intersecting C dash, intersecting B. Outside A, outside C, but inside B. A dash intersection C dash intersection B. So how many marks? 2 marks. So you can write down the same thing as this. A union C dash. A union C is A and C. Union dash but intersects with B. So same thing you can write like this as well. So you get 2 marks for any one of these. So we have given all 10 marks for that question. Now let's do the last question. You have to prove that. So let's do the first part. In the triangle ABE, AB equals AE. These two lengths are equal. That means this angle and this angle both are equal. The circle in which the diameter is AB intersects the line BE and AE at C. BE and AE at C and D respectively. So C and D. Prove that the triangle ABC triangle is congruent to AEC triangle. Now we know that if this is AB is the diameter, the semicircle angles are 90 degrees. This is 90-degree angle and here this is a straight angle. So this is also 90. So these two angles are equal and the two triangles are congruent. We can easily show that. Take ABC triangle and AEC triangle. ABC triangle. AB is equal to AE. It's given. And AEC angle is equal to ABC angle because of isosceles triangle. Then the other angle you can write ACB, is same as ACE, that's 90 degrees because semicircle angle. So now we have two angles and one length. So ABC triangle is congruent to AEC triangle. What's the case? Angle, angle, side. So how many marks for that part? You get 3 marks. But you can use RHS as well. One length, that's easier than this because this is common and the hypotenuse equal. RHS also you can apply for this one. So you get 3 marks for any method. I proved using AAS, but RHS is also possible. Let's take the next one. The tangent drawn to the circle at C intersects the line AE at T. So let's draw that. Tangent drawn at C intersects AE as T. Prove that DT is equal to TE. DT is equal to TE. These two lengths are equal. Now from the previous part, we showed that these two triangles are congruent. So we can mark this length is equal to this length because corresponding elements are equal. And we know that this is equal to this and this is 90 degrees. How can you show that DT equals TE? Now let's take this angle. Now we need to think about, now we have to show that DT equals TE. These two lengths are equal. If we can show that these two lines are parallel, then according to converse midpoint theorem, you can show that T is the midpoint of DE. That's what we have to do. For that, we can take these angles first. So this angle is equal to this angle, same segment angles. So let's write down DAC angle and DBC angle are equal because same segment angles. Then what can you say about this angle? This angle is same as this angle. Alternate segment theorem. The angle between the tangent and the chord is equal to the opposite angle, opposite segment angle. So you can write BTCD is same as DAC. DAC is same as TCD according to alternate segment theorem. This angle is equal to this angle. Then what can you say about this angle? This angle is equal to this angle. And what about this angle? Now this is same as this angle. Now these three are equal. Now what about the other side? Other side, if you take the tangent and the chord, this angle. So let's take this angle. That angle is same as this angle. And that angle is same as this angle. But we have to show that now these two lines are parallel. How can we show that these two are parallel? These two are equal. Why? We proved that in the first part, these two triangles are congruent. So corresponding angles are equal. So we can write BAC angle is same as EAC angle because of the congruent triangles. So now we can say this is equal to this angle. Same segment angles. So you can write BAC is same as BDC, same segment angles. Now we can write down. From these two, we can see that these two are equal. BDC angle. BDC angle is same as TCD angle. then alternate angles are equal. That means BD line is parallel to CT line. Then what can you say? These two are parallel lines. And we know C is the midpoint of EB. So according to converse midpoint theorem, you can say T is the midpoint of DE. What's the reason? Because BD is parallel to CT and C is the midpoint. So when you draw a parallel line from one midpoint, then the other point is also becomes the midpoint of the other length. So T is the midpoint of DE, so DT is equal to TE. According to converse midpoint theorem. So how many marks for that part? You are getting 7 marks for that. So we'll give marks for all these steps. We'll give 1 mark and here 1 mark. Then here each one 1 mark, so that this is 1 mark. And here parallel, and according to converse midpoint theorem, this is equal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 marks for the last part, because we have given 3 marks for the previous question. So we completed all 12 questions in paper 2. Make sure you do the paper first and then watch my video to check your answers.
To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.